it's your girl, Taylor Petty Gang. Okay, and I'm back with another video today for you guys. We're not going to do too much talking. We're just going to jump right into this one. It's another story time. I know you guys love my stories. I've got a lot of them. Before we do get into it, however, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for me. Please, please, please. Hit that post notification bell, because what's the point of subscribing if you're not going to know when I post? So hit that post notification bell after you subscribe. Okay, thank you. And now let's get into it. Okay, so today's story time is going to be about the first time I got caught shoplifting. Yikes, I was a bad child, you guys. So this story takes place when I was about 11 years old. So yeah, I think I was in like I can't remember if it was the summertime or if I was in school. I think I might have been like right as school started, like my 6th grade year. And all summer I had been hanging out with my neighbor. We're gonna call her Shania. So me and Shania were super, super, super close. One thing you have to know is that when my mom, during the summer times, my mom was always at work. So I watched my little sister. So that's gonna come into play in this story. But anyways, so me and Shania and my sister all hanging out at the park like we do every day. We just hang out, play games with like the whole neighborhood. And for some reason this day, I had one of my older cousins there, and she had went to Cub Foods. So the way my neighborhood was set up, it was like my house, our neighborhood, and then like we had the whole strip in front of our house, if that makes sense. So we had like all these different fast food places, and then we had literally like our grocery store, which is Cub Foods. I know if you're watching this from like a different state and it's not like the Midwest region, you're not gonna know what Cub Foods is, but in Minnesota, that's what we have, is Cub Foods. So Cub Foods is right in front of us, and you know, Cub, they give out free cookies to kids. So me and my cousin, my sister, would go there like twice a day and get a free cookie every day, because you know, we're hungry, and who's gonna turn down free cookies? Not me. So we would go there all the time. And there was one time when my cousin was there, and she was older than us. So my neighbor Shania is like 3 years younger than me. And then there's me, my sister's 5 years younger than me, and then my older cousin who was 2 years older than me. So yeah, she's a little bit older. I'm 11, she's 13. She goes to Cub, and she comes back with a bunch of candy and stuff, and I knew she didn't have any money, so I'm like, well, how the hell did you get that candy, you know? But she got it, and I kind of knew, but I just wanted her to say it. So she tells us, like, hey, I stole it, and I'm like, word? Like, what? And you got away with it? And then she's just like, yeah, like, what do you mean? It's not that hard. So I'm like, okay. So as the summer keeps going on, we continue to go get our free cookies every day. And you know, when you're a kid and you don't have money, you just want like more stuff, and you go into a store, you see a bunch of stuff, and you're like, oh, I want it. So me and my neighbor started off, like, we thought we were slick, so we just started off taking like candy out the little machines or out the little bins, and just stealing little stuff, right? Like, it wasn't nothing major. We still shouldn't do it, though. But it wasn't nothing major. Then, time went on. So it was like a couple weeks later. We started thinking we was slick, because we was stealing all the time. And we started thinking we were super slick, so we just kept stealing. Until one day, my mom called us and was like, she called me and my sister and was like, I want you guys home by the time I get home, because we had plans that day and we were going over to somebody's house, and like, she just wanted us at the crib by the time she got home from work. So she got home at 5 o'clock, right? And it was like 4 something, I think it was like 4:15 when she called. So I was like, oh shoot, we haven't been to Cub today, we have to go now. so we can make it back in time, right? And a lot of the time when we were stealing, I would have my sister like wait outside, or I would make her stay home and just tell her I'd get her a free cookie, because I didn't want my sister to snitch on me. My sister was a little snitch back in the day, so I didn't want her to snitch on me. But this day, because we only had so much time, I didn't have time to go look for her when I got done stealing. So I was just like, just come with, don't say anything, don't do nothing, just be quiet and don't snitch on me. And she was like, okay. So yes, I did, y'all. I took, well, how old was she? I was 11, so she had to have been like 5. So I took my 5-year-old freaking sister to Cub Foods to steal with me. And by this time we were progressing, so we had stolen a whole bunch of stuff, right? So we had started taking bags with us so we could just put stuff in the bag and steal. We grabbed our bags and we dipped. We went into the store and we just started packing them bags full of stuff. Whole bunch of stuff. I had started getting my makeup products even though I was 11 and didn't know how to do my makeup for anything. But that's neither here nor there. So we're in the store just filling our bags up. Me and Shania split up to just like get stuff. And then we decided we were gonna meet back up. We met in one of the aisles and we're just like, okay, cool, smooth. Like, you got everything, you got everything. We're like, yeah. Okay. So, this is where we messed up at. The day before, we had went into the store and taken stuff, but we never left any evidence until the day before. Literally, the day before, we had picked up a box of Hostess Cosmic Brownies, and we couldn't take the whole big box with us, so what did we do? We opened the box, and we emptied the box and just put, like, the brownies in our pockets, in our bags, just wherever we could, and then we left the box, like, the empty box on a shelf. Don't know why. And I think that's kind of how they caught us. Like, obviously, I don't know that for sure, but I feel like they knew that we were coming in there all the time. We were never buying anything. We would walk around the store a bunch of times and then leave, and then they found this empty box of Cosmic Brownies. So I think they were definitely looking for people that, like, the day that we got caught. So I think that's why. We weren't very, like, smart and thinking, like, oh, maybe we should wait because we did just steal a bunch of stuff yesterday. But no, we went there again the next day. So we're literally, like, stuffed to the brim, bags full, and we're like, all right, we ready to head out, you know what I'm saying? So the store, the way the store is set up, you exit, there's 2 exits and entrances. So the side we came in, we enter through here, but then to exit, you have to go around a corner, and then the exit's on, like, the other side. So we're looking around, we're like, headed over to the cash registers because that's where the exits are by, obviously. But then we dip around the corner and we're about to run out because I was getting sketched out, and I just felt like people were noticing us because, like, I felt like as we were walking around the store, there was a bunch of people that we saw multiple times, and I didn't think about it. I didn't, like, I guess I just didn't think of anything of it. But now looking back, I'm like, yeah, they were definitely on to us because they actually had a lady who had, like, a cart full of a bunch of random stuff, and she just kept walking around, but she always ended up in the aisle that we were in, and we would, like, see her, and we're like, okay, well, we gotta find empty aisles to put the stuff into these bags. So we would, like, see her and then go to a different aisle. Next thing we know, she's in that aisle with us, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Because, like, her cart had stuff in it, but every aisle she went into, she wasn't putting anything else in it. So I was like, what, like, why are you following us, right? But I just brushed it off and was like, okay, we gotta go. So once we were done, we were like, okay, let's dip. Literally on our way out, the door is here, like, it's literally 2 feet in front of me. And I hear, hey! And I'm just like, I turn and look, I see this big old dude. He's set, like, big. And he was wearing a little vest, like, he's basically the security. And he's looking dead at me. And I'm like, and I looked at Shania, and I was like, bro, we gotta dip. So me and her were about to run. But then that's when it, like, rang a bell. I'm like, yo, I have my 5-year-old sister with me. Like, how in the hell am I gonna outrun security with a 5-year-old? And then my sister was a little bit farther behind us. So, like, when the guy said, hey, I turned around to look at him. My sister was in arm's reach of the guy. Like, he wasn't holding her. He wasn't touching her, nothing. But she was in arm's reach of him. So I was like, if he, like, grabs her, what am I supposed to do? I can't leave my little sister there. Like, she's 5. So I'm like, bruh, I just have to stay. And shout out to Shania. You know who you are, even though that's not your name. But... because you a real one. She really could have just dipped on both of us, me and my sister, and been gone. Like, she could have gotten away, but she stayed like a real G. So he comes up and grabs me and Shania, and he's like, come with me. And I'm like, bruh, I don't want to come with you. So we go into this back room, right? And it's like all the security room. We can see all the cameras of the whole store. And I'm like, damn, they got us. Because they had frozen pictures of us up on the screen. They were frozen. So you could see us, like, putting stuff into the bags. And he grabs our bags, dumps it all out. And he's like, so. And, like, you can't deny it. You got caught at that point. Like, yeah, I was stealing. Like, what's your point? And then he was like, do you know how much stuff this is? And I'm like, no. He tells us we have about like $100 each worth of stuff. So we were stealing $200 worth of stuff. And most of it, I kid you not, was food. Like, I had a few makeup products, but I kid you not, most of it was food. So I was just like, yeah, bitch gotta eat. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, okay, I'm not gonna call the police on you guys because you guys seem pretty young. But I am going to have to call your parents because you guys are minors. And I'm like, do you know my mama? You don't. Okay, then. I was like, you know what? Call the police. I legitimately said that, you guys. I was like, call the police. Like, I had such an attitude with this guy. And literally all he was doing was his job. But I had such an attitude with him because I was like, no, I don't want to talk to you, don't want to be here. Why are you all in my business? Why are you so concerned about what I'm doing? But he was like, I was stealing. I was doing wrong. So, of course, he's going to, like, obviously talk to me. But I had such an attitude with him. And he's like, so I need your mom's phone number and your mom's phone number. And then he was like, and I need your mom's phone number to my little sister. And I was like, that's my little sister. We have the same mom. And he's like, okay, well, I need your parents' phone number. And I'm like, call the police, bro. Like, I don't want to give you my mom's phone number. And then he looked at me. He said, if I call the police, you're going to be charged. And I looked at him and I was like, you think I'm scared? At 11 years old. I was funny. I didn't have, like, a care in the world. I was like, I don't care. Like, I was not afraid of the police, none of that. But I was scared to death of my mama. Like, I was scared. He was like, he asked my neighbor for her mom's number first. And he called her mom, put her on speaker, and she going off on the phone. She's like, I'll be over there in a second. Because, you know, our house was right there. It was literally, like, a 2-minute walk. So, literally, they were there, like, quick. But then he calls my mom because eventually, you know, I have to give him the phone number. But meanwhile, he's yelling at my little sister because I didn't want to give him my mom's phone number. And so he kept asking my sister, who's 5 years old, and he's yelling at her, like, how do you not know your mom's phone number? And I was like, excuse me, sir, she's 5 years old, so you can quit talking to her like that. Like, I don't play when it comes to my little sister. So I was like, you're not gonna talk to her like that. The only person that could talk to her like that is me. Okay. So eventually, I just got sick of him yelling at her because he was really trying to grill her for the number. And she kept saying, like, I don't know. And he made her cry. And I'm like, oh, that's it. Like, I was finna go ham on this dude because I'm like, she's 5. She doesn't know her number. Like, why are you screaming in her face like that? You're big as shit, like, scaring her. But I was just tired of it. So I eventually gave him the number and was like, okay, this is my mom's phone number. So he calls my mom, and my mom picks up the phone. He has it on speaker so I can hear her. He's like, hello. Says her name, and then He's like, he's like, let's call him Mike. This is Mike from Cub Foods. I have both your daughters here, and they've been picked up by us for shoplifting. We're not going to call the police on them because it's not a grand amount, but we did have to call you. And then all my mom said was, I'm on my way. And then she hung up the phone. Bruh. Low key in that moment, I was scared. Like, I was not scared up until that point, but then that is when a little bit of fear like hit my heart in that moment, you know, because I'm like, shoot, like my mom sounded just mad. Shania's mom gets there, she walks in, and we're still waiting on my mom, and I'm like getting nervous because I know she's about to be here, because literally she was already at home because it had taken us like a minute. And I was just scared because I'm like, I know she's gonna come. She walks in, and like, keep in mind, we're literally in the security room, so I can see her on the monitors when she hits the door. And she walks in and she's looking around, like the look on her face, y'all, like she was so mad. And I was so scared. Like that moment in time, that is when my heart dropped to my ass. Like, I saw her face and I immediately started bawling. Like, I was not crying up until that point. I did not care. I had a whole attitude. My whole attitude changed the moment I saw her face, because I knew at that point in time when I got home, I was finna get it. So I'm like, that's my mom. And then he goes out and gets her, brings her back to the room, and she comes in, eyes dead locked on me. Like, she did not take her eyes off me. Dude's talking to her. He's like, this is what your daughter took. They've been stealing from our store for quite some time. Blah, blah, blah. My mom's just listening. Just staring at me. And I knew what that meant. That meant, like, Taylor, I'm going to keep my composure here, but when we get home, that's so ass. So I was scared. I was so scared, you guys. So my mom had to sign some paperwork, fill it out, whatever, and then she was able to take me and my sister home. So that's really it for like the actual story about how we got caught. But y'all, when I got home, oh Lord, I needed Jesus. My mom went in on my ass. That was literally probably like, I have had my ass whipped a few times, but like the first one that I had that was like legitimately, like, I could remember. My mom was so mad, you guys. I was scared. Like, right before we left, he was like, okay, you guys can go. I looked at him and I was like, please. Please call the cops. I'd rather go to jail. I literally told him, I was like, I don't want to go home. And my mom's looking at me like, why don't you want to go home? Why not? And I'm like, no. I was so scared. I walked in that house. The moment I walked in that house, it was on. Like, I was like, I have to pee. She was like, hell. And she was like, nah, not finna do that. Get your ass up here. And I was like, I started walking towards her, immediately turned my ass around. She like, bop, bop, bop. Oh. Bruh. Telling this story is just like, it reminds me how stupid I was. Like, who does this? Like, I mean, I know I'm not the only kid to ever shoplift, but how stupid do you have to be to shoplift for multiple days in a row at the same exact store and just like keep going back thinking you're not gonna get caught? I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. But yeah, that is the first time I got caught shoplifting at 11 years old with my neighbor and my 5-year-old sister. Not the dumbest thing, but it's close to one of the dumbest things I've ever done. And it's like the first really dumb thing that I ever did. That was like the start of my trouble streak. So I've got a lot of stories after that have gotten me into like a ton of trouble. So I did get caught shoplifting 2 more times. So if you guys want to hear those story times, let me know. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and peace out.